Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ray, and it's definitely been a minute since I've sat down in front of a camera and chit-chatted with y'all. Today's video is very near and dear to my heart because it is a lifestyle that I've implemented and it has drastically impacted my physical well-being, mental well-being, spiritual well-being, and I think it's a very beautiful thing to learn how to cycle sync, especially if you're a woman and especially if you have women in your life. So if you're a man watching this and you have a mom, a sister, a girlfriend, like this video is useful for all genders because knowing how a woman operates and learning how to work with your cycle and not against it and learning how to work with women, it's a win-win for everyone, especially guys out there. This is a hack, like, to be the best boyfriend ever. That's all I'm saying. I am gonna take this very intuitively combined with my own research, and I've studied a lot of cycle syncing stuff in different cultures. Like, I've traveled a lot, so I'm also gonna be implementing that. The structure that I kind of want to set up is I'm going to go through the 4 phases of a women's cycle. So every however many days, like usually it's 28 days, but it could be less, it could be more. Every cycle a woman has, she's going to go through 4 phases. So we have the menstruation, the follicular, the ovulation, and the luteal phase. And these resemble the seasons, they resemble the lunar cycle, the moon. So it's actually incredible when you really start to dive into this rabbit hole how spiritual and beautiful female bodies are, and the divine feminine energy and the connection that we have to Mama Gaia, to Mother Nature, and learning to harness that is actually just an amazing superpower. The way I'm gonna kind of set this up is I'm gonna refer to each phase, like what season we're in, the moon cycle that we're in, biologically what's going on for all of my scientific babes out there, the kind of like just some advice, mentally, spiritually, what's going on, movement, food, seed cycling. Seed cycling is kind of like different seeds you want to eat in different parts of your phases in order to promote a healthy balance of estrogen and progesterone. And then also your cervical mucus can dictate a lot about your cycle. So with the cervical mucus, there are several ways to track your cycle. That could be an option. It's not as accurate though as measuring your basal temperature every morning. I think I'm gonna do like a whole other video on that because it's kind of a lot of information right now. But let's just focus on the 4 cycles. So the first one is menstruation. Obviously, that is when you are bleeding. Society and a lot of people call it a period. I like to call it a moon. So I'd be like, oh, I'm on my moon right now. I don't know. I think it's like just kind of, when I was in Hawaii, this woman on the farm was very knowledgeable about the moon cycles, like the menstrual cycle. And it does correlate a lot to the moon. So she just would call it her moon. And I liked that a lot better. This correlates with winter and also the new moon phase. So kind of think of that like darkness. So it's interesting because in the collective consciousness, darkness is seen as a bad thing, which is why we kind of maybe subconsciously are against women. That's a whole other thing. Don't even get me started with the patriarchy over here. But just think about the stigma of you on your period. It's actually so much stigma and so much negativity that women tend to resent their periods. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm not looking forward to having all these cramps and being down every month, you know what I mean? But there is something beautiful when you can kind of lean into this pain that you feel and realize how pleasurable it is, because on so many different spiritual levels, this physical shedding of the uterine lining is like physically shedding everything that no longer serves you that month. So I like to think of it as like if you're having really heavy cramps, you're really moving through a lot of tense, dense energy, and this is your body's way of physically shedding. This is like amazing to me, okay? That we call this gross, okay, a woman bleeding, and like literally it is just so insane to me on so many levels, like physically, mentally, spiritually, everything that's going on during this time in a woman's body. But it's really interesting because men don't go through this, right? Like this, you can use your menstruation, your moon, as a superpower. And like once you learn to harness that, and once you learn to enjoy your moon, and you can sit with your moon, and you can receive these beautiful downloads from the universe, and it's actually a beautiful thing. The more I've leaned into it, the more I've appreciated being able to bleed and like how beautiful it is. This is a very sacred practice. It stems deep with many cultures. Like when a woman is bleeding, many cultures see it as a very holy, beautiful thing. She goes into this red tent for the week, and when she comes out, she has all this beautiful divine knowledge, this wisdom to share with the village. This also relates to the wise woman archetype. Just think of that like the maiden, the mother, and the crone, that kind of like witchy moon, you know what I mean? I'll just like put it right here if you don't know what I'm talking about. So the wise woman archetype, I like to think when I'm menstruating, I'm so connected to the divine feminine, the divine consciousness. Like I get these incredible downloads. So this is why it's a great time to journal, to really sit with yourself and to establish these boundaries. It is okay to just rest and just be. You don't need to go out and make all these social plans. You can just sit with your own intuition. That is perfectly fine and beautiful. Let's go into biologically what's happening, because we're kind of skipping around here. And as a Virgo, I like to go in order, you know? The lining of the uterus sheds, and this causes a lot of cramping and fatigue, obviously. If you've gone through this, it's not great. So some of the advice that I would give to someone is to spend a lot of time alone, especially in nature. You're very connected to your phase in this cycle. Maybe doing a lot of journaling, nourishing yourself with really like warm, hearty foods, sitting with your intuition. You may receive a lot of downloads and a lot of clarity. Think of it like a moon cycle, right? You're in the new moon, you're in the winter, you're embracing that energy of sitting in that darkness, going inward, collecting this wisdom. With the movement, you're gonna wanna keep it very light, like some light stretching, maybe a long walk, some yoga, very restorative yoga, a lot of resting. It is okay to rest. Like your body is going through changes. Rest, okay? Seriously. The foods that I would recommend to consume are going to be a lot of high iron foods because you're low in iron. This would include like lentils, black beans, tofu. Also, dark leafy greens can help relieve some of these PMS symptoms. So think like kale, stuff like that. A lot of comfort foods, like I was saying, those warm, hearty soups that just make you want to curl up in a ball and get all cozy. And we're in the winter right now, so that's perfect. Getting a lot of, like I said, kale, beets, mushrooms are really great here. Sea veggies, so like seaweed and dulse. I think that's how you say it, Dulse. Root veggies are great, like that kind of those starchy, like potatoes, stuff like that. That can be really comforting. And you want to get your B vitamins in here. So nutritional yeast is a great option, and supplements. Also, if you want to take like a B12 or something supplement. And extra hydration, make sure you're drinking a lot. You're losing a lot of blood, so you want to be replenishing that as best as you can. I love to have like some dark chocolate in this phase, you know, some cacao, maybe have like a little cacao ceremony. Oh, so beautiful. The seed cycling in this phase is going to be pumpkin and flaxseed. And your cervical mucus is kind of dry, right? You're not really like having that high of a sex drive, so it's going to be dry. Phase 2 is going to be the follicular phase. So the follicular phase, this is the springtime. This is everything starting to bud again. This is the waxing crescent. So we're moving from the new moon into the full moon. We're transitioning. Think of the birds are chirping. Everything's coming alive. You're gaining your energy back. You're like, oh, here we go. I got this beautiful knowledge from the downloads, and now I'm ready to implement this, okay? This is when, biologically speaking, estrogen begins to gradually increase because the ovaries are growing a follicle that's going to eventually become an egg cell. This is going to cause your sex drive to increase. It's also going to cause your energy to increase and your mood to uplift as well. So some advice I have here is that your mind is very sharp. It's time to take initiative, make plans, meetings, following through with different projects, stuff like that. You're taking all of this divine wisdom that you got in your menstruation and you're now implementing it. You're birthing it into this realm. So some great movement here are HIIT workouts, high intensity interval training. Strength training is a great one. Maybe running, again, more like energy uplifting activities, stuff like that. You might notice that you kind of have a little bit of a loss of appetite here, so you're less hungry. Some great foods to eat here are more raw foods because this is going to help metabolize estrogen. Also, sprouted and fermented foods are great as well. Broccoli sprouts, kimchi, sauerkraut, stuff like that. Also, healthy fats and vitamin C here as well. So you can take vitamin C in supplements, or if you want to, get it naturally, like oranges and stuff, are a great source of that. Seed cycling here, we're still in the first half, so it's still gonna be pumpkin and flax. And your cervical mucus, yummy. It's gonna be sticky in the beginning of your phase because it's gonna kind of infer that you're not fertile, right? We're getting ready for ovulation. We're getting ready to be fertile, to be fertilized. And then it's gonna be more creamy, like in later stages. So now we're in ovulation. This is when women are at their peak. They're thriving. They're giving girl boss energy, okay? This is time to create, to express, to connect with other humans. This is the summertime. Everything is in full bloom. It's green everywhere, flowers everywhere. Think of that summertime energy. Everything is vibrant. Everything is thriving. This is the full moon. This can be thought of as like the mother and the child archetype almost. So like it's giving mother in this phase, okay? Like you are fertile. Like be careful, babes. Like you're a little fertile flower. So it's giving mother energy, it's giving girl boss energy. Biologically, the egg has formed and it's now ready to release. Your progesterone is high, which is gonna cause a spike in your basal temperature. Again, that might be a whole other video of how I track my cycle, but one way to do it is through basal temperature. Your basal temperature is the temperature you have every morning. So throughout like menstruation and follicular, it's kind of like this. And when you ovulate, it's like a boom, and then in the luteal, it's up here. So it's like that nice, beautiful curve going up right here. You're gonna have lots of energy. You're gonna have a higher sex drive here. This is a great time to go out, negotiate deals, network, communicate, have fun. Is this how men feel every day? Like literally, is this how men feel every day? Because women experience this, and this phase is like 3 to 5 days out of the month. So that's great for us. Some movement, you can get into those HIIT workouts, the high intensity interval training, the strength training, weightlifting. Maybe you want to add in some sprints in there. You got a lot of energy. The foods I would recommend here are a lot of high fiber foods. Dark leafy greens are also great here. The seed cycling is gonna transfer over now. We're coming into sesame and sunflower. So like consuming those can be really beneficial for helping level out those hormonal levels and all of that jazz. You like jazz?
You like jazz?
Going on right now. Your cervical mucus, this could be an indicator that you're ovulating, is going to be long and sticky. So this means that you're fertile. Another great way to check if you're ovulating is to take ovulation tests. You basically just pee in a cup at home. You stick this little like a little dipper, I don't know what they're called, into the cup for 5 seconds, and then when you pull it out, it'll tell you if you're ovulating or not, and you can actually input that information into an app, like whichever app you choose to use to help track your cycle, but that can also be a great way for a non-hormonal option of birth control. Moving on here to phase 4, the luteal phase. So we just moved through the beautiful, abundant, vibrant summer, and now we're starting to head into winter again. So this is when the moon is starting to come into like a waning crescent. We're moving from full moon to new moon. It is autumn time. Fall is upon us. The leaves are starting to turn beautiful colors. The animals are starting to get ready for winter, maybe starting to hibernate. So you can think of your body in the same way. The archetype here is the wild woman archetype. So I love the luteal phase, okay? I just love all the phases. They're all so amazing. It's like the seasons. But the luteal phase is like really what I think of, that wild woman, like this woman with this wild hair, just like tangled and knotted, just barefoot, running in a forest. Like, this is time to reflect deeply. Like, you just moved through this whole transition, okay? This is time to really reflect on all the lessons the universe was guiding you through your cycle, and just really start to slow down and hunker down and prepare for winter. This wild woman archetype just intuitively reminds me of this free-spirited energy that we all have, this creativity almost, just really being barefoot in nature and connecting and like being just this primal free being. Our bodies mirror Mama Gaia, Pachamama, Mother Nature. She is starting to slow down. So take that advice and start to slow down with her. Your body is preparing to be potentially fertilized, but when it's not fertilized, the egg's gonna make its way down the fallopian tubes and eventually shed all of that greatness out in menstruation. So you're gonna start to experience a lot of PMS symptoms here, especially in the later part of your luteal phase. This is like right before menstruation. So just really start to take care of yourself. If your partner menstruates, this is a great time to prepare mentally, okay? Because you're about to go through hell. No, I'm just kidding. You're gonna wanna help your partner out. Maybe get them some snacks, a cozy blanket, be like, babe, I got you. We're gonna prepare for the winter together. So this is just great, like a great thing. Again, understanding a woman's body can really benefit every person in the world, honestly. It's a great time to kind of wrap everything up, you know, that you've just done in the follicular and the ovulation. Really just like wrapping up projects, closing any loose ends, just preparing yourself to hunker down. Some great movement here are yoga. Again, you might, towards the later part of the luteal, you're kind of gonna wanna maybe get more into like a slower flow of yoga. Pilates is also a great workout. Going on long walks can be really nourishing. Some foods you're going to want to consume here will be rich in iron and zinc. Also, a lot of complex carbs are great here. I know everyone's so scared of carbs, but like carbs are an amazing thing, okay? Listen to your body, intuitively eat. That's kind of the bottom line with all this advice that I'm giving anyways. You're probably going to be more hungry here. Honor that, okay? This is like, animals do this every year, okay? Bears are getting ready to hibernate for the winter. The squirrels are out and about collecting their acorns. Like, if you're hungry, eat those carbs, girly, okay? Because your body is about to go through it. And also grounding foods, like think of foods like in the earth, okay? Like sweet potatoes, pumpkins, stuff like that. And the seed cycling here is gonna be the same as ovulating. So it's gonna be sesame seeds and sunflower seeds. And your cervical mucus is gonna kind of start to get dry again. That's about it. This was kind of a longer video, but there was a lot of information in there. I also have a blog post if you want to check it out with like some of these graphics that I included. More information also. Let me know if you have any questions down below. Would love to help you out. And I hope that you start maybe implementing just one little aspect of cycle syncing. I know it can be really overwhelming, like a lot of information thrown at you all at once, but learning to cycle sync your social life, your relationships, friendships, your workouts, the food you're eating to your body and being more in tune with your body is like such a beautiful and amazing thing. So I hope this video helped. And I definitely took more of like a spiritual route if you resonate with that. So sending much love, whatever phase of your cycle you're on. And if you don't have a cycle and you're watching purely because you want to benefit the lives of the women in your life, you're an absolute slay, king, queen, whoever you are, like, period, okay? Love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!